Photographer on my way to McDonald's in Clifton, and a call comes out for fumes at the Coliseum. And we rushed down there, and it did look like fumes because people were lying there with not a mark on them. They looked like they were taking naps right outside the Coliseum door, and they were all dead.
Local 12's Deborah Dixon remembers vividly that night 34 years ago when 11 people left their homes to go to the Who concert at Riverfront Coliseum and never returned. Their families and friends marked the somber anniversary as a survivor of the tragedy has launched a search for the people who saved him that night. Local 12's Anjanette Levy is live where it all happened with their stories. Anjanette.
Well, Cami, the Coliseum, of course, is now U.S. Bank Arena, and this was the site of that awful Who concert tragedy 34 years ago tonight, and it's the place where those who lost loved ones and attended the concert came to mourn.
Peter Bowes, 18, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Every December 3rd, Daryl Hutton and others come to this spot to light lanterns for the 11 people who died while waiting to get into the Who concert. 23 others were hurt.
I didn't know whether it was a fight or whatever. I didn't really know that people had died until 2 hours afterwards.
Bob Vader was here with his friend Dave Heck, one of the 11 who suffocated from being pushed into the doors. Concert goers heard music playing and thought the concert had started.
He was helping other people that had fallen, and I couldn't help him. That was enough, all I could do to help my girlfriend get out of the crowd.
Tom Brown says he carried an unconscious woman to safety and found himself trapped in a doorway between a nightstick and fans pushing to get through.
And he put a nightstick right across my throat in the door jamb, stopped me right in my tracks. They were trying to close the door. They were trying to push us back out of the door so that they could close it. The people grabbed a hold of the nightstick and pushed it forward so that I could get my head out from in between the stick and the crowd because they were being pushed against me.
Brown has created a Facebook page. He's hoping after all of these years that he can find the woman he helped and the people who helped him.
I have no realistic expectation of actually finding them, but if I do, I just want to say thanks.
Although 34 years have passed, in some ways it feels like the Who concert tragedy happened yesterday.
It's hard. Sometimes it's very hard.
Now, a lot of changes came out of this tragedy, like improvements to crowd control procedures and the end of festival seating here in Cincinnati and many other places around the country. 34 years later, there's still no public memorial to those victims here at U.S. Bank Arena. Those who attended the concert that night and lost loved ones are hoping to change that. Reporting live, Anjanette Levy, Local 12 News. Cami?
And you're right, Anjanette. There were some positive changes to come out of it. Thank you for your report. And like Deborah Dixon, I have some vivid memories from that night, too. I was there as a spectator. I mean, I was a student at Miami University and came down to Cincinnati for the concert. And we were in reserve seating, which was in the upper tier, so we didn't have to get there early for the festival seating or the first come, first served. By the time I got there, everything had happened, but we didn't know what had happened, really. We saw piles of clothes and shoes and purses and coats and things, and it was so odd. And we saw some paramedics, but we thought maybe there were some drug overdoses. The Who went on to perform that concert. They weren't even told until after the show. And I personally didn't know what had happened until I was driving back to Oxford and heard it on the radio. Just a very, very tragic night, and really our hearts go out to the people who were involved that night and the families.